Hello and welcome to tutorial 199. Now, text objects can be extremely useful for displaying information, so trend lines, text labels, rectangles, etc. But they can also be an integral part of a program, by which I mean that by using for example, a trend line could well be drawn on the chart, but then could tell the program, tell a strategy when you wish to enter a trade or leave a trade, etc., what level, what date time, etc. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is look at adding several text labels to a chart and keeping track of those text labels, where they are, and also recognizing when they're clicked on and moved. So let me just demonstrate that. So first of all, we're going to be just going to add three things. So let's add A, B, and C. And what you'll notice is that when we click on the chart recognizes that we've clicked on the chart, but also when we add a string, the program is also printing out all the strings that have been added to the chart so far. So for example, in this area here, you can see since we've added A, B, and C, you can see we've got A, B, and C. Also, it's telling us the date and time that the particular label is placed at, and also the pricing level. And if we add more text labels, so for example, let's add D, you'll get another printout which now includes D. Now, if we were to go to drawing and click the arrow pointer, if I click on one of these labels, for example, let's click on A, so I'm just going to mouse down, you'll see that the program has recognized that I've clicked on that label, and you can see at the bottom in the print log that it's saying text label clicked, and just showing the ID and the date and time. And if I were to actually move this, then you'll see that we get the information about our four text labels reprinted, but with the new value of text label A. So text label A is now 142.73. If we just look, and that seems to be about right. Obviously, it's not with text labels, it's not quite as easy to see the actual price levels as it would be for a trend line or a horizontal line. Okay, so let's just have a look at the program. And the first thing, if we go into a once statement, is what we're doing is we're using the charting host. So unfortunately, this is not a program that would work with the regular version of multi-charts. And what we're doing on the once statement on the last bar chart, we're instantiating this charting host, and then we're setting up a charting host event so that the charting host will recognize when the chart is clicked. And this event is the one that we are using further up the program here. So we'll go back to that in a moment, but let's just continue looking at the once statement. In some occasions, what's going to happen is you're going to refresh the chart, or you're going to apply a program like this to a chart where there are already some existing text labels. So what the program does, it gets the information about what text labels are on the chart, and that's just using the standard TradeStation drawing objects.items, and then I'm using this number here 5, which means that we're talking about text labels. Now, if you don't know that syntax, if you right click there and look at drawing objects items and then go to here, object category, you'll see all the different object categories available. We are looking at text created by drawing objects, in other words, one added by the user, which is 5. So we put all of those into a list, a vector, and then we go through them and we add to each one a click event using this syntax here. So this is the text label that we're getting the information from the vector. We're doing dot click and then plus equals text label click. That is the click event. And if we look a little bit higher, you can see that connects up with this text label click here. And as I said before, what we're doing is we're just printing out some information, which includes the ID, the point value to string, and the actual text string. So we know which label's being clicked and what level it's at. So let's continue looking at the program. So the big click event is the charting host click event, and this is called when there's a mouse up having clicked the chart, and we're doing a couple of things. First of all, if this is caused by a chart visual element drawing object, in other words we've clicked on the chart because of for example a text label, then we print some information about the text label using this drawing object visual element name, so we know that it's a text label, and we've also got an ID, and we also put in sender to string. So if we just go back to the chart, I'm just going to clear this for a second. So we have text selected. If I click on the chart, you'll see that we get this text here, which is the text 6, and the sender is the charting host. Let's go back to the code again so we can see that. So it's printing the name of the drawing object visual element, which is text. Then we've got the ID, which is 6. This is the new one that's being added to the chart. And we've got the sender, and the sender is the charting host. Now, having done that, if we then decide we're going to add another text object to the chart, we can click on the chart and put in the string, and what that will do is cause the program, just go back here, is we get a list of the drawing objects, in other words all the text objects, text labels, and if that list is not 0, or if the count of that list is not 0, then we do a couple of things. First of all, for the new text object that's just been added, we add a click event, just very much like we did in the one statement, but it's the last element in this vector list. And then we go through all the items in the list, in the vector, and we print out this information. In fact, first of all, we store into a datetime point, DTP, which is a datetime point in the variables. We store into that the point value that is stored in for the text label. Now that point value could be a DT point, a BN point. However, in this case, it's a DT point, and we then use that information to print out the value, initially by using the point value to string, but then we want to split that up. So we put the value in the DTP, and then we can say specifically DTP.price and DTP actually date time of bar to string, and that gives us the date time of that bar. So that is the information that we're printing for each text object. So just looking at that again, the last one we added E, so you can see the information there. You can see the value that's initially from the DT point printed using to string. Then we split that off into price and date time, like so. Now that's all good so far. I think we've covered most of the program there. And incidentally, this by itself is not especially useful, but you could, of course, use these click events to do other things. I'm just doing this as a simple example to get you started using the drawing objects, if that's not something that you already are doing. But let me clear the print log. And what we're going to do is I'm going to press Control R. So what that's going to do is reapply the program to the chart. Now, normally, had we not gone through and added click events to the values, and these values would no longer have a click event associated with them. However, because in the one statement we've added that, when we mouse down, you'll see that we are getting that click event. Let me just explain what I mean by that. So in the one statement, as you may recall, what we do is we go through and we add a click event for each of the text labels. So I hope this might be useful for you. Thank you very much.